There are so many emotional videos online right now about immigration, deportation, voting, and growing tension between some Black Americans and some Latino communities. Many people are blaming each other while others are saying everyone should stand together instead of fighting. In this video we are about to watch, we are not here to attack any group or spread hate. We are here to slow everything down, look at the different opinions being shared online, and understand why so many people are reacting the way they are. There are strong emotions on every side, but it is important to separate facts from opinions and to understand the bigger picture. By the end of this video, I hope you will have a clearer understanding of why this conversation has become so heated and why it has divided so many people. Welcome back to the Voice of Reality. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. On this channel, we look at trending stories, real life events, and different opinions so we can understand what is really happening. If you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss our future uploads. For now, let's watch some of the clips making headlines online. After the clips, we'll come back and break everything down together.
A 58-year-old grandmother from the country of Ireland who has lived in the United States for 47 years has renewed her green card 7 times with no problem whatsoever. She came here totally legally. She cooks meals for homeless people. She's volunteered in disaster areas. She pays her taxes. She's a regular person that seems to have a pretty good heart. Well, her and her husband were coming back from a recent trip to Ireland. And they've done it, countless times over the years. Most of her family still lives over there, so they go over and visit. So they're coming back from Ireland. They arrive in Chicago's O'Hare Airport. And much to their surprise, when they step off the plane, the cops are there waiting for Miss Donna Brown Hughes. And they immediately take her into custody and ship her to an ICE facility, where she has remained for now over a month. This 58-year-old Irish grandmother, detained by ICE for over a month. She doesn't have her deportation hearing, by the way, until September 17th. And the husband, what was his name? Jim Brown, was just like, what in the God's name is going on here? And it turns out ICE has told this woman, look, we got to get you out of here. You're a criminal. You broke the law 10 years ago, and we finally caught you. For green card holders, ICE can and will revoke your green card status and deport you if you're convicted of any kind of violent crime, if you're involved in any type of massive, drug crime, like if you yourself are a drug smuggler, not just a usage, but you got to be distributing, basically a drug kingpin. So what the hell did this 58-year-old Irish grandmother do that was so bad that ICE is like, we got to get her at the airport off the plane and stick her in a concentration camp? Well, it turns out, I don't know if you're even ready to hear this, okay? Because this is actually a pretty heinous crime. Turns out that 10 years ago, back in 2015, this woman wrote a bad check for $25. And she pleaded guilty to the misdemeanor, didn't realize that she was overdrafting her checking account. They paid the fees to the bank, they paid the fines, they paid the restitution, they paid it all, everything's fine. 10 years ago. 25. And it was only a few dollars that she had overdrafted. And 10 years later, even though it had all been settled, she had renewed her green card since then. But now ICE is like, no, man, you're a fraudster. You're over there committing bank fraud. We got to get you the hell out of our country now. Yeah, go ahead and tell all those unhoused people you've been cooking meals for that they now have to go hungry because ICE got you, you hardened criminal. I mean, you'd think it was like Jeffrey Dahmer that they just snagged. $25. She's been in the country for 47 years. Here's where the story takes a turn, of course. This man, Jim Brown, voted for Trump. But he told the Daily Beast,
a Cuban man with his idol's name tatted on his arm was deported yesterday. The ink was permanent, but the outcome said terms and conditions apply.
They took my wife.
This man who wished not to be identified says his wife is from Venezuela and has lived in the United States for a few years. She was one of 3 people taken from this home. I'm told the 2 others were men who worked in construction. You see them here. This video, only a minute and 52 seconds long, we do not see his wife being removed from the home. But this is a picture of her that he keeps in his wallet. Her name is Vianis Ramirez, and he says she was in the process of becoming a United States citizen.
I don't get it. I mean, we try to tell you guys. We were saying it the entire time before the election that it was a mistake for lots of reasons to vote for this man. And you did it anyway. We told you that you were going to put your family at risk. And you did it anyway. And not just with immigration, but with the prices of everything. And we're not even there yet. We don't know how these tariffs are going to affect our grocery bills and everything else. We tried to warn you. This is what fucking around and finding out looks like. Next time, listen. Because there will be a next time. There will be another motherfucker like Trump at some point. Listen.
So you voted for Trump and now you getting deported? Nah, it's not funny. It's not funny. My white neighbor, a Trump supporter, just called ICE on my Mexican neighbors who are also Trump supporters. They're crying in the driveway right now getting deported. Now, getting deported is not funny. I promise you it's not funny. But they tried to tell y'all, all you Hispanics who voted for Trump, you know you have a lot of family members. Most of y'all have a lot of family members that are illegal. And they had to come here to get a better living. You know, it's just what it is. And now the very person you voted for is getting rid of your family one by one. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And now they're saying birthright citizenship might be taken away. So even some of y'all who done had kids here, got married here, all that, set your life up, y'all gonna be gone. Like I said, it's not funny, but the irony of it is hilarious because you technically made this choice for yourself, so you can't complain. I'm telling you, they were never your friends. They just wanted your vote. Now look at you.
Do you guys remember the lady named Ria Hernandez? She said Trump was the closest thing to God. She just got deported on Tuesday.
The U.S. has deported West African migrants to Sierra Leone under the Trump administration's policy of sending third country deportees to Africa and Latin America. A plane carrying 9 deportees landed at the airport near the capital Freetown on Wednesday, 20th May. According to Sierra Leone's Ministry of Information, the deported migrants were 5 Ghanaians, 2 Guineans, 1 Senegalese, and 1 Nigerian. Sierra Leone is expected to receive 25 deportees per month, with a total of 300 in a year under a deal with the U.S. Sierra Leone's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Timothy Kaba, told local media that the deportation deal is backed by a $1.5 million grant from the U.S. government and that Sierra Leone would receive only nationals of fellow West African countries. AFP also quoted him as saying that the country is taking in these deported people because they are from West Africa and some of them had Sierra Leonean residence permits obtained many years ago. The authorities say the migrants who arrived on Wednesday will be housed in a hotel pending their subsequent transfers to their home countries, likely within 14 days. However, Kaba noted that they have the right to stay in the country for 90 days in line with the visa-free movement policy across the West African region under ECOWAS. The United States has signed similar third-country deportation deals with several other African countries, including the DRC, Equatorial Guinea, South Sudan, Rwanda, Uganda, Eswatini, Ghana, and Cameroon. These transfers are part of a broader immigration crackdown by the U.S., and controversial and often opaque agreements, with Washington providing financial support to countries taking in non-nationals. A U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee report estimates that as of January 2026, the Trump administration had spent at least $40 million to relocate around 300 migrants to countries other than their own. Campaigners say the policy raises serious human rights questions, particularly for those who fled insecurity in their home countries. Others express concern that some of the deportees have criminal records. However, Washington maintains it is enforcing immigration law to ensure the internal security and economic well-being of Americans.
The United States is now deporting people, not to their home countries, but to completely different countries. Here is what is actually happening. The Trump administration is expanding something called third country deportations. Instead of sending someone back where they came from, the US sends them to a random country willing to take them. Why? Because these are people with deportation orders who cannot legally be returned to their home countries. They have protections, withholding of removal or convention against torture, meaning a judge already determined their life is in danger if they go home. So Trump's solution? Send them somewhere else entirely and let that country deal with them. The US is cutting deals with countries like Cameroon, Rwanda, Equatorial Guinea, and South Sudan. And what are we offering in return? Money, sanctions relief, perhaps even telling American citizens it is safe to travel there, upgrading that country's international reputation overnight. In plain English, take our deportees and we will reward you. But here's what nobody is talking about. Only 1 out of 6 people being sent to these third countries actually has a criminal record. The rest do not. So if most of these people are not criminals, why are they ending up in maximum security conditions in countries with some of the worst human rights records on the planet? We are talking overcrowded prisons, no electricity, no running water, malaria, typhoid, extreme heat, and it gets worse. Most of these migrants had legal protections preventing them from being sent to their home countries. And now the third countries receiving them may deport them right back there anyway. The very thing a US judge said would put their lives in danger. We are paying millions to El Salvador, millions to African nations, tens of millions through international programs, all to deport a relatively small number of people, most of whom have no...
Being a Trump supporter is costing people their lives even outside of this country, the US. So picture this. My cousin got married in Miami, Florida last weekend, and my mom's cousin from Nicaragua flew into Miami to attend the wedding. Now, this cousin of my mom's is a huge Trump supporter, and she's very loud about it and outspoken about it on social media, on Facebook. Mind you, this is a 60-year-old woman on Facebook. And she flew without her husband. Her husband stayed in Nicaragua. When she tried to fly back to Nicaragua, they did not let her into the country. They didn't give her a reason why, but we're speculating it's because she's a Trump supporter and Nicaragua does not support Trump. So, in the midst of all this, her husband was like, okay, they're going to let you back in. She got to Nicaragua, and when she got to Nicaragua, they deported her to El Salvador. Mind you, this has all happened within the span of 72 hours. And so they also deported her husband as well. So her husband and her are currently stuck in El Salvador, and they don't even know if they're going to be able to come back home to Nicaragua at all, because as of right now, they are deported. And they are assuming that this has all transpired because of how outspoken she is on social media about how much she supports Trump. So this shit is crazy. My mom canceled her trip to Nicaragua that she was going to this summer for a whole almost 2 months. But she's paranoid that when she gets there, they're not going to let her in. Or when she gets there, they're going to hold her because she is now an American, but she was born in Nicaragua. And my mom's not a Trump supporter. But she is paranoid, you know, that anything could happen. So this is fucking crazy, y'all.
Trump is now being asked to deport his own wife. A viral petition with thousands of signatures is demanding that Trump apply his immigration policies to his own family, starting with Melania, who came from Slovenia in the 1990s, became a U.S. citizen in 2006, and later brought her parents under the chain migration process Trump claims to oppose. And what about Barron, their son? People are now calling him an anchor baby, the same term Trump used against immigrant families for years. The message is clear. If these rules apply to everyone else, they should apply to you too. Congresswoman Maxine Waters is even calling for an investigation into the immigration status of Melania's parents. Did they overstay visas? Did they come undocumented? No answers yet. Because here's the truth. Overstaying a visa is a crime. Crossing undocumented is too. So why is Trump's family exempt? This isn't just outrage, it's a cry from immigrants who work, pay taxes, and live under fear. Because the real crime isn't migration. It's using the law to punish the poor while protecting your own. Comment if you believe laws should apply to all, not just the powerless. Share before it disappears.
I honestly cannot believe everything we have just watched. After watching those clips, you can clearly see that this issue is about much more than immigration. It has become a debate about politics, voting, responsibility, and how different communities are treating one another. Some people believe that the Latino voters supported policy that are now affecting their own families. Others argue that no family deserves to suffer, no matter who they voted for. Yeah, of course, no matter who they voted for, no one deserves to suffer. Some black creators are saying they warned people before the election and they feel they are being unfair. So they blame and they are being blamed for something that they did not cause. At the same time, other voices believe someone should put politics aside and support families going through difficult situations. These are different opinions from different people, and they show just how divided the conversation has become. One thing is clear, emotions are running very high. Social media has become a place where people defend their views, criticize others, and sometimes spread anger instead of understanding. Whether you agree with one side or another, it is always important to check the facts before believing everything you see online. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think communities should support each other during difficult times, even if they voted differently? Share your honest opinion in the comment section below. Please keep the discussion respectful. We would love to hear your thoughts. Now let's continue watching a few more clips, and after that, we'll come back with some final commentaries.
Abdelatif Hafraoui and his wife Sandra voted for Trump 3 times. Now he's being deported. They've changed their mind. To quote Sandra, we thought he was going to go after criminals. We thought he was going after other people. I never thought the leopards would eat my face, sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. He's been held for like 100 days. He's now got an ankle bracelet. They're deporting him. They're huge Trump supporters. He claims he had a screw up where basically he had an attorney who's been thrown in prison now because the attorney was basically cheating all these people, was helping him regularize. He's been in the States for decades from Morocco, helping him sort of regularize his citizenship, whether green card, whatever it was. And he had an appointment with the immigration folks, didn't show up because his scam lawyer didn't tell him he had the appointment. Well, because he didn't show up, the immigration folks said, you're out of here. They deported him, right? Well, he then comes for some other follow-up meeting and they grab him and they're deporting him. Well, they're all sad now because, again, they thought Trump was going to kick out the Latino criminals, not the Moroccan ones.
Is it true that your opponent voted for the Laken Riley Act?
That is true. And
okay. So could you expand on that and why, how possibly somebody who voted for the Laken Riley Act could adequately represent the people of Minnesota who so heroically stood up for ICE against ICE earlier this year?
So Emma, that's a good question. And that is, the question I think that people should be asking. It was not a surprise that Donald Trump has a mass deportation agenda. It was literally on, signs behind him at every rally, in all caps, that said mass deportations now. I remember the first training that I went to with the immigrant rights organization was in December of 2024, because we knew what was coming. Yeah. And on the third day of the second Trump administration, Congresswoman Angie Craig was the only Minnesota Democrat to vote in favor of the Laken Riley Act. And, for folks just, to let them know, the Laken Riley Act essentially strips due process away from immigrants and allows for the indefinite detention of adults and of children. And I believe that this was absolutely, the policy that essentially gave, Donald Trump and Stephen Miller the green light to terrorize our communities. As we have watched, right, the killing of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, and now Jawan and Lorenzo as well. This is, I think this is the core of this race. Because not only did she vote for the Laken Riley Act, she stood by that vote even after Renee Good and Alex Preddy were killed, and only recently said that she regrets, the vote. But she also voted to praise ICE while they were separating families in Los Angeles last summer. So I think we can stand with the immigrant community all of the time, not just when it's politically expedient.
If you get deported, would you regret your support to Donald Trump?
No me arrepentiría.
He's saying that he wouldn't regret supporting Donald Trump. So you're really not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children and the future of your children.
Yes, I want the better for my children.
Mexican immigrations official just deported an American content creator who was a Trump supporter and ironically had this to say about illegal immigration after the presidential elections this year.
I don't know why Latinos are so scared of Donald Trump taking office. What's going to happen is he's going to secure the border and there's probably going to be less immigrants coming in, which is a good thing because that's how the country is supposed to be run. You're going to have to go through a legal process.
So this content creator entered Mexico through a tourist visa, overstayed, and was recently deported by Mexican officials because she doesn't have lawful status. Ironically, she's a Trump supporter living in Mexico. Wild. You guys say that you guys need to do it the right way. You mean we need to do it the right way when we try to go up there to migrate for a better life. But you guys don't need to do it the right way when you guys come down here to live and take advantage of the lower cost of living, among many other things, right? That's what I took away from this video. This is no hate to this content creator, but I was kind of shocked to scroll down some of her videos. Initially, I just kind of wanted to understand the process. Like, damn, that's crazy to see the reverse Uno. But honestly, this is something that a lot of Mexicans have been waiting for Mexican officials to start deporting the Americans, Canadians, and foreigners. But a large part of them are Americans that come down here to take advantage of the lower cost of living and to stretch their dollars a little bit further. But they do so by circumventing our immigration processes because a tourist visa is for 6 months only to come and be a tourist. If you come down here on this tourist visa to live and you're working and making income and you're still living on this tourist visa, you are technically not doing it the right way. In her video, she mentioned she was in the process of obtaining dual citizenship, which is great. However, you still have not done it the right way. While you were in the process of getting citizenship or legalizing yourself, you are still technically in Mexico unlawfully, which is why you were just deported. So it's just kind of crazy to see a Trump supporter preach about how this is how it's supposed to happen. You guys should just do it the right way. But when you guys come down here to our country, you guys don't do it the right way either. Food for thought.
We as Muslims stand with President Trump because he promises peace.
We love our brothers and sisters who are Democrats, but you left us. And because the left left us, join the right, vote for Trump, 2024.
A few moments later.
Oh, not me, man. Sorry. Move back. Out the way, Willis, out the way. Out the way. You're gonna get knocked down. Move! Right.
Somali immigrants in America are in shock and in fear at the very man many of them supported, believing that he would protect them, has not turned against them. Donald Trump officially ended the TPS for Somalis, and for years, Somali families, they lived in the U.S., are dependent on TPS because their home country remained unsafe, unstable, and unlivable. TPS allowed them to work legally, to raise their kids peacefully, and to rebuild their lives. But now things have changed overnight. Now thousands of Somali immigrants, they risk losing their legal status, their right to work, and facing possible deportations back to a country they once fled for their lives.
With all due respect, nobody gives a fuck and nobody feels sorry that your husband got deported because you in fact did vote for this. You just didn't think you'll be affected since you voted for Trump. You can say all you want, but judging by your repost of Charlie Kirk and your Republican views, which you have removed since, you fucked around and found out. I know you regret voting for him now, but it's already too late. Instead of begging us to help you, maybe you should reach out to Candace Owens or all of the Republican figures you follow. You made your bed, now lie in it with regret. We don't feel sorry for you.
Now that we have gone through the whole clips, I hope you can better understand why this topic has become so controversial. This conversation is not only about immigration, it is about trust, political choices, community relationship, and consequences that people believe come from those choices. While many people have strong opinion, it is important to remember that real families and real life are affected by this event. Listening to different viewpoints can help us understand the situation better, even when we disagree. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this video have helped you to see the bigger picture and encourage you to think about the issue from different angles. If you enjoy watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Voice of Reality. Give this video a thumb up, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and share it with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.